All right, today I'm going to show you how to put your Ford Fusion rear brakes into service mode, because I got to do the rear brakes and hubs on my daughter's 2017 Ford Fusion, so check it out. I'm going to start the video with the air on, but I'm going to have to turn it off because it's got to be key on, engine off to do this, to put your brakes in service mode. So I'm fixing to turn it off, and right now it's already 91 degrees out at 10 a.m. So it's South Louisiana's finest. So here's how you turn it, or here's how you put your brakes in service mode. All right, so here we go. What it says to do, and what I've read, is that you put it to engine on, or key on, engine off, which is just a quick. So there we do that. Then press the accelerator all the way to the floor and push the electronic parking brake down for around 5 seconds. That's what it should do, and I'm almost to 5 seconds. And then it said, while you continue to hold the stuff down, turn the key to off, and then within 5 seconds, turn it back on while still holding the button down. And you can hear it retracting them. And there we go, and we're in the maintenance mode. So that's awesome. All right. I heard it go, see, brake maintenance mode, and I heard the calipers retracting, so that's pretty cool. So there you go, it's ready to be worked on. Well, it's about 20 degrees cooler out of the sun here in the shop. I got some awesome hair. So after you get the car put into maintenance mode, the next thing I do is I chock the front tire so it doesn't roll away. And then I'm going to jack it up on both sides and put jack stands underneath so it's safely supported. Work smart, work safe. And then we'll take the tires off and we will get to work on the other stuff. I'll show you the size wrenches and all that you need to do the work. And I'll also open up what I'm putting on, and we'll go from there. So there you go. Thank you. When you jack it up, make sure you jack it up from the appropriate jacking spots. Look in your service manual, and there's also like a little arrow on the rocker panel that shows you where to place the jack when you jack it up. So there you go. All right, well, I am not going to show you how to take the wheels off, because you should know that. Just know that when you take these off, a lot of these lug nuts have swollen up because of some defect from Ford. So just make sure you don't jam the socket too far on, because then you have to beat it off of the nut. So we're going to do that. I'm not going to show you that on film, and then we'll go from there. But I'm going to take the wheels off. That's the next step. All right. So I have removed the wheel. Like I said, the parking brake is retracted. I'll probably film this, but I'm going to have the fan on because I literally showed you how hot it was like a half hour ago. So I'll just run through this with you. But basically, these have caps that come off on the back, and that allows you to remove the bolt that holds the caliper to the caliper bracket. So you can remove all this. So then you can remove the caliper bracket, which has 2 bolts that hold it on. And then once you have that off, you can get the rotor off, which will then allow you to take that hub out. So it's a couple of steps, and as I get each one done, like I said, I'm going to film it with my GoPro. I'm going to be sitting down here so you can see it. Then I'll show you what I got done at that point. But first thing is, you got to take these little doohickeys out of here, and so it'll give you access to those bolts that hold the caliper on. So here we go. All right, so first step is to remove the spring clips, and again, I'm doing this all one-handed. It comes out with a flat head. Then you can use this to remove those caps, or just do them by hand like I just showed you. And then I think these are a T45. Yes, they are. So remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I'm going to put you down so I can use both hands on this, but they're definitely T45s to get the caliper pin slides out so that we can remove the caliper from the caliper bracket. So that's the next step. So let me put you down, and I'm going to fight with this and get it off of here. And there wasn't much fight. That came off pretty easily. So I'm going to get the other one. Hopefully you can see this. It's just too hot out for my iPhone, which is what I usually use to tape with, because you saw when I was in the car that it was pretty dang hot out here. So there we go. So we're going to remove both of these, and then I usually hang these up off of a spring or hang it off of here so it's not putting any tension on the brake line. That's the key. You don't want any tension on your brake line. And then we I think there's something might be holding it on there. Let me turn you off and get up close to this, because I definitely want to see what's holding this up. Alright, so I took this loose so I had more play. This, of course, is the brake line that we want to protect. And I pushed the pins all the way out with my screwdriver. You can just like push them out. And then I'm going to use the flat of the blade to pry this out away from the rotor. There you go. Simple and easy. So I'm going to put you down, and I'm going to try and take this the rest of the way off. And what I plan on doing is just sitting it on this sway bar. And then if that doesn't work, I'll go get a coat hanger or something to hang it off with something else. But that's the plan right now. So there you go. There we go. Just trying to get it off. There we go. And like I said, I'm going to set it over here. There's the electronic part of the caliper for the electronic parking brake. And see, it's got a servo motor, and there are the pads. I'll compare those to the pads that are going to be going on there, and I think they're much better shape. So I'm going to pause this and set this down so I don't kink anything, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so we got it off. I'm setting it right there, trying to make sure it doesn't fall and damage the brake line at all. Now this, my understanding, the caliper bolts are 14 millimeters, so that's the next step in the adventure. So I'm going to put you down. I'm going to get my 14 millimeter, and I'm going to turn on the fan because it's pretty sweltering out here in the sun. And because of the Mustang, I can't put the car in the garage. So, alright, so it was a 15 millimeter. While you were off, I loosened it up because it definitely wasn't this easy. So I'm going to take these off and remove the caliper, and then we'll take the disc off, and then we'll be able to get to the hub. So here you go. I'm going to turn you off, but yeah, it's a 15 millimeter for these. So a T45 for the pins and a 15 millimeter for these bolts. So here we go. Alright, so I got it off, and if you note, there is blue thread locker for these caliper brackets. So there you go. Just FYI, I need to make sure I have some so I can put it back on when I reassemble. Just know that it's got the blue thread locker. Alright, the rotor should come off relatively easy. It should just come straight off. I don't see anything holding it on. sometimes there's a bolt or a screw that holds it in place. So I'm just going to tap on it a little bit. There we go. We got it loose. And there you go. It's off. I could probably reuse this, but since rotors are so cheap, we're going to just take it and replace it. Alright, so the next step is I got to get behind here and disconnect this wheel speed sensor from the hub, and it feels like it's a Phillips screw, and then this I just got to get back there. I can't see it from right here, but those have to come off before I start taking these hub bolts out. So I want to pause you and go about getting that stuff off of there. All right, the bolt that's holding the speed sensor on the hub is a T25. So I'm going to use that to take that sensor off. And once I got that off, I'm going to remove these giant bolts, and hopefully the hub will come off relatively simple without too much wailing and gnashing of teeth. Hopefully I don't have to get out the gear puller or the slide hammer, so hopefully it'll just be decent with me. Alright, well, I loosened all the bolts. That was the hardest thing so far, just because of the odd angle that I was in, but you can see where this was leaking. And but anyways, what I was going to say is, as I loosened it up, it just fell out, so I didn't have any problem. Some of the people I've seen on the old YouTube had issues getting it out, but I guess that's one of the benefits of now living in the Rust Belt is it wasn't sieged in there. It literally just fell straight out of there. So 15 millimeter T25 for the speed sensor, T45 for the caliper pins. Now all I got to do is reverse all this. The one thing I still have to show you is how to compress your brake pads, or the brake caliper to fit the new pads, because I'm going to show you the difference between the thickness of the new and the old. Alright, here is the hub that I purchased to replace the one that's going bad on the driver's side of my daughter's car. It is Moog part A22050, and this is what it looks like when it shows up. It's a nice complete unit with the ABS sensor attached. So if you're wondering why it's so expensive, besides being a bearing in a sealed unit, you also have a sensor attached to it. All right, well, there's the new, there's the new, and there's the old. And like I said, it was like leaking grease from the bearing, so that's how I knew it was bad. But this one turns so much smoother than this one, so definitely the right thing to do. Anywho, let me get about putting the new one in. So like I said, it's just the reverse of the removal. So let me put it back in. I'll get to the point where I got to compress the brake pads, or the brake caliper, and then I'll bring you back and show you how I do that. My understanding of compressing the caliper piston on my 2017 Ford Fusion is that it requires this specialty tool that allows you to rotate the caliper piston back into the caliper. So we're going to try that out and see if that is the truth. But as you can see, I had to replace the hub, and now I'm going to compress the piston so that I can put new brake pads on my new rotor that's going on my new hub. So here we go. All right, this is definitely the one. I'm going to try and shoot this with one hand. It is definitely not too hard to turn, so just take your time. And like I said, it goes actually, I'm going to try and get it on the my GoPro, so we'll try and film it, but it doesn't take much to turn it. All right, this is the power, or the brakes from Power Stop that I purchased for my daughter's car. It has the clips to hold the rear pads in. It's got some anti-squeak lubricant, so when the caliper pushes in, it doesn't bind up. And then I have 2 brand new rotors. So that's what it all comes in a kit, and the kit number is on here somewhere. Gotta find the thing. I don't know. Now the brake pads are 16-1665, and the power stop brakes are Reassembling, or whoever makes them with the kit are there. It's Centric CEN 120.61103. The Reassembling is 681012. So there you go. This is what comes in that kit. All right, there's my brand new rotor I'm about to put on this puppy. Like I said, I'm gonna have to clean it off a little bit with some brake clean, which I luckily have over there in my stash of stuff. So I'm gonna take this out of the box and install it after I wipe it down a little bit with some brake clean. All right, so I can't remember what I showed you last, but I put the new hub in, and then I reattached it with the 15 millimeters. I then reattached the speed sensor with that T25 bit, and be careful with the bit on the speed sensor, because it is plastic, so just don't over muscle it. Then I came and I put on the caliper bracket, and in the interim I compressed the piston with the compression tool, since this one rotates into place. And then finally I have my new versus old brake pads, and as you can see, there's definitely more meat on the new. Now the spring one is the one that goes up against the caliper, and the other one sits on the exterior. So the next item I have to do is put a little brake grease right here and right here, and then on the inner, because that's what the brake pads actually ride on, so that they can compress and stop the car. So anyways, I'm going to do that, and then I'll probably put a little bit on the pins prior to tightening the whole caliper back up. So right now I am going to do that, and I'm going to pause and then restart it, and hopefully I get this with the camera, because as you can tell, it's pretty bright out, and I can't really see what's on the screen. So here we go. And so this is how you install new pads, new rotor, and new hub assembly. And I'm going to do this and try not to get anything onto the caliper or the rotor. You know, that's what helps the car stop, and you don't want to have grease on it. So just going to put a little dab right on there. Not a lot, just a little. Alright, so the external pad goes on, clips right into there. There it is. Now, the internal pad, this has that little button, which is the same thing that's on the caliper to allow the brake to turn in and out. So gotta make sure you put that there. All right, now the next trick is hoping that I had it and I did have it turned in far enough, and there we go. I think I did. There we go. Now I just gotta get the T45 and tighten this one down, and then I'll use that brand new clip to hold the pads in. So let me find the T45, which I left right here. And I'm not going to tighten it all the way down until I get the other side going. And then we'll tighten her down good. Now, typically I would give you the required torquing specs, but I think it's better if you look them up for your particular car and then you torque it to what the manual says for your particular car, rather than me telling you something and it not being right. This is the method of how you do it. You just gotta finish it up by making sure you get the right torque specs for your particular vehicle. And there we go. So like I said, it can go a lot faster than I'm doing it because I'm talking and trying to do it at the same time. So there you go. That's all there is to it, to changing your brakes and rotor on a 2017 Ford Fusion. There you go. All right, the very last thing you need to do is put the spring on that holds everything in place. And I think it goes like, I'm trying to remember how it goes on here. Just sure as shit, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the picture, but I think it goes on like this, right here. This goes under here, and that goes right in there. There we go. And that should hold the brake pads in. So there you go. That's all it is to it. Putting the brake pads on. Now I just got to put the wheel back on, and that'll suck everything in. So there you go. All right, so I got all the work done on the brakes and replaced the hub. So the next step is to get the car out of brake maintenance mode. And to do that, you have to press down on the accelerator and then pull up on the emergency brake. And then once you do that, you turn it back off, and then you turn it back on while still holding them both down, and it should take it out of that maintenance. I hear them moving. It says the parking brake is applied. So I think it did what it was supposed to do. All right, there we go. This is me. I just changed the rotors and the brakes out, and hopefully all this put together will help you when you need to fix your car and save a little money. So as always, I really appreciate it, and hopefully this will help you make any decision you may have to make as far as brakes or a hub or what have you. So thanks a lot. Have a great day.